roads are for people. It's up to the pigeons to avoid cars.
Wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Abroad in Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host, Chris Broad. I'm currently being held hostage in a room, and we're joined by the top enthusiast guy who loves Japan so much. It's Pete Donaldson. Pete, how the devil are you doing?
You know what? My love for Japan pales in insignificance when faced with my love for you, Chris. I live for your dispatches. I live for this podcast. I live for your general demeanour in your little weird bunker in your hotel room, in wherever the hell you are.
It's freezing,
Chris. I'm having quite a little Japanese adventure this Christmas, and it's very much down to my ongoing saga, and yes, it is a saga. My import of a Japanese Toyota Century.
Oh yeah, where is it?
Where is it?
In Yemen.
It headed through the Suez Canal. Did not get blocked. Did not block the Suez Canal. Got through there. It flirted with the boot end of Italy. Floated past Spain at speed. And it is now set to arrive on the... this show is coming out later than Christmas Eve, but it has arrived at Southampton Port on the 24th of December, which is less than ideal because it's the 24th of December, Chris.
That's when Santa brings the Toyota Century down the chimney.
That's when Santa brings all the Toyota. Santa's going to be driving it, baby. Yeah, not ideal. I've not got any way of sorting this out. I'm deep in Christmas admin. It's all gone wrong, Chris. I knew this was going to be a pain. I knew it. I just knew it.
Well, it will arrive eventually. For those of you who don't know, Pete ordered a car from Japan, a Toyota Century, like the old Japanese taxi driver car. And that's a massive distance to travel. It's taken like 2 months, right? A month or two?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
And it's going to be landing in the UK just in time for nobody to be able to give it to you. When's the earliest you can get it then? Like January?
Well, I mean, I can pick it up. I presume like sort of Boxing Day if I want, but I need to organise the payment of the tax. I've got to organise the trailer. I've got to organise an MOT. I've got to organise a registration. And this is all happening at Christmas during, I'm going to say, a rather busy period for me for various reasons.
Well, I mean...
Where I can't just take 2 days off and just go, I'm going to Southampton to grab a car.
Do you regret doing it yet? Do you regret it?
I don't regret doing it. I just regret doing it at this time of year. The way that the Japanese lady explained, I was under the assumption that it would be arriving late January. But these modern boats. These modern boats.
Oh, man. But what a great way to usher in the new year, with a car
it's great,
that is long gone extinct.
It's not roadworthy, not allowed to drive it on any public roads. Yeah, can't even park it outside my house. It doesn't have registration.
I think
God,
you're a muppet. You're a muppet. There's no two ways. But then I can hardly talk. I bought like a rickety, cheap-ass K car. And to be fair, it did the mileage. I've been driving around for 3 weeks through wind, rain, snow, hurricane. And, it's been a lot of fun. People love that car. So I'm not saying it's going to be worth it for you with your very old, dilapidated Toyota Century.
Stick it on a boat, get it to London. Stick it on a boat, get it to Portsmouth, for crying out loud, or Southampton,
it's tempting.
Wherever I'm picking it up from.
Can you import K cars into the UK? Could I theoretically?
Yes, I think so, yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, safety-wise, they could do it.
I do wonder why, other countries haven't adopted the concept of a K car. It is up until I bought this K car, I was like, "Well, they're rubbish. He wants a small nonsense car." Blech. But then, the taxes are lower. It's fun to drive. It's easy to park. You can fit it in any bloody space, and it's kind of it's just cozy sitting next to, your fellow passenger, shoulder to shoulder, driving through the mountains. It's just really cool. It's just something about it. I like it. And I've got to leave it with Natsuki, though, because I'm not going to drive it all the way back to Tokyo, because I'm too lazy. So I'm going to leave it with Natsuki, and hopefully when I go back up there in due course, he won't have written it off. And I also worry
around with it. That's adorable. And Natsuki's going to pootle around in your K car. That's brilliant. And bearing in mind, he has quite a low opinion about that car at the best of times.
He does. I mean, I shot the scene actually where I hand over the keys to him, and I didn't really tell him I was going to give him the car. And he was like, wow, can I sell it? And I was like, no, you can't fucking sell it.
Yes.
Don't sell it. No. Of course he was going to try and sell the damn thing.
Of course he was.
Cheeky sausage.
He's an entrepreneur, for crying out loud.
Well, debatable. But hopefully it's there when I get back. That's all I care about, because that car was the real character Journey Across Japan.
The real star of Journey Across Japan. He'll fill it with like just shower gel. I was going to say, do hairdressers use shower gel? They really don't, do they? Shampoo.
That he will. Just
shower gel.
Car full of shampoo and shower
gel in there. Yeah,
oh my god. All right, we got a story this week from Stephen, who says, Dear Pathway Pete and Cul-de-sac Chris, back in 2017 I decided to surprise my wife. Surprise my wife.
Was she playing away, Stephen?
Oh dear. With a trip to Tokyo for her birthday. It was a delightful week, and your videos played a helpful role preparing for the journey. One of the more unexpected and awkward moments, though, happened while riding the subway one day. We got on the train from where we were staying at the Tokyo Grand Hotel to explore the Skytree, and after boarding I looked around, feeling the atmosphere had become tense and the people around me seemed uncomfortable. I quickly realised that I was the only man on the train, and it didn't take long to see a sign next to me in English notify me that this was the woman-only train car. I notified my wife by pointing at the sign. We quickly got off and boarded the next train in a mixed-gender car. I felt super embarrassed and bad for any discomfort I may have caused. There's a police siren out the window. Like, it goes nicely with the story.
We can't hear it at all.
The miracle of modern microphones. I felt super embarrassed and bad for any discomfort I may have caused. I hope they saw me as just another silly foreigner, ignorant of the rules, rather than some creepy guy. Have you ever caught yourself in a situation like that when you unintentionally broke a rule or law in Japan to the discomfort of the people around you? All the best, Stephen. I'll admit, I think I did go on a carriage for women only once, and very quickly, you know you've done something wrong because everyone's looking like they want to kill you, and the big sign saying women only is also a giveaway because they're everywhere,
Yeah.
Although women only carriages, often they're only for certain hours of the day. It's not all day, so it gets a bit confusing. But something to be mindful of, though. Something to definitely be aware of. Have you ever walked onto the women only carriage, Pete? Something you would do?
I have, but then I've walked straight off again. It's kind of I find the branding offensive that it's like very pink sometimes. If I was a woman, I'd be like, oh, why is this all pink? It's a bit strange, isn't it? But yes, I understand that's how shorthand works. But I have, and I just walked straight off. But I wouldn't worry about it. People can't, again, Gaijin Pass, you get away with a lot of stuff within reason. When people sort of go, they probably don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, beware of it. But
and you with your wife as well. And you with your wife. I was taking a friend's Ben around the park a couple of days ago, and one of my neighbour's kids were singing carols in the park, and lovely little girl. She was singing, and she had like a solo lovely. And stuff. And so I filmed, because her mum and dad couldn't make it, so I filmed a couple of minutes of her singing for them. And I was thinking, God, if I didn't have a baby carriage with me, if I didn't have a pram with me, I would look like an absolute wrong'un. Check your privilege. No. Check your privilege. I was saying to my mate, Asian bloke, he obviously finds it a little bit more taxing at the airport for tedious reasons. But I think I spoke about it maybe at the time, but I was splicing together two headphone wires on a BA flight to America last year, and I was because I didn't have the right connector, so I was like, oh, sod it, I'll just pull these apart. It's quite a long flight, so I'll splice these wires together. And I was thinking, Jesus Christ, again, just check your privilege. If I was not, if I didn't look like I looked, like an absolute nerdy dweeb man, and I'm just twisting these wires together, good God, I'd get out air marshal off the fucking plane. It does sound terrifying. It was, yeah. But,
I was assembling a bomb on the plane.
I just really wanted to watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I just had to splice the wires together.
Oh my God. Well, I've got a news story this week that is, I'm trying to find a way to connect it in like I normally do, and I simply cannot. Maybe
cannot.
It's just because it's such a baffling news story for many reasons, and probably the weirdest one we've had in a good while. Tokyo taxi driver was arrested, accused of running over a pigeon, and not like accidentally, like actually, like targeting the pigeons in his car.
Yeah.
Bit weird. Fill us in, Pete. What's going on in the news this week in Japan?
Well, I mean, you've cleared that one out, I would say. You've knocked that one right into the rafters. I would say that the rafters where the pigeon
right
live,
to the bonnet.
I would say that it's quite interesting because there used to be a TV show in the probably 70s, a Hanna-Barbera cartoon called Catch the Pigeon, which you probably don't remember, but Dastardly and Muttley were constantly trying to kill this pigeon. So it very much puts me in mind of that. But a man, a taxi driver... A man, a taxi driver, you do remember it. A man, a taxi driver, and Atsushi Ozawa, who's 50 years old, used his car, Chris, to kill a common pigeon, which, as the police have stated in this case, is not a game animal. If he'd killed like a pheasant with his taxi, that would have been absolutely fine. He was arrested on Sunday for violating wildlife protection laws. A police spokesperson told the press. The taxi driver allegedly sped off from traffic lights after they turned green and ploughed into the birds at a speed of 37 miles per hour, according to Japanese media. Given the suspect's job as a professional taxi driver, police described his actions as highly malicious, and that is very much the thin end of a very strange wedge. It's a very unusual arrest, and the suspect apparently told police that roads are for people, it's up to the pigeons to avoid cars.
What? Overestimating the ability of pigeons to communicate somewhat. And
yeah, I mean, because in London and the south, like pigeons and seagulls are aggressive. Pigeons are aggressive. They've all got gnarled feet. Nobody has a real kind of warm spot for them, really. And the TV show in the 80s called Pigeon Street tried to affect a slight change in that, but clearly not. Apparently the Japanese, certainly the Tokyo residents, don't mind pigeons as much as they like, as much as they hate crows, because crows very much spend a lot of time just eating rubbish left out for collection, and it's just making a mess in Tokyo. Shintaro Ishihara, the governor of Tokyo, announced he was waging war on the crows. So they spent a lot of time trying to kill a lot of crows. But this taxi driver, for killing this pigeon, could be fined as much as £1,000.
Unbelievable.
$14,000.
It reminds me of that film, is it Death Race, the 1975 film Death Race, where people drive around America just running over folks for fun and points in the competition. It's kind of like that, but with pigeons. Pigeon death race.
I saw a bus run over a pigeon once, and it made me feel absolutely sick to my stomach.
This is not a good turn for a conversation. This is awful. We need to get out of here. We need to get to the fax machine. We'll be right back in a moment, guys. Away from the pigeons to the fax machine in a second.
My dad once saw a seagull eat a poo.
Wow.
And we're back with the pigeon carrying messaging section. We're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week? From our listeners, Mr. Dawson, fill us in.
Fell out of a sewage pipe. Anyway, hello, Christovius Pete. Christovius Chris and Pitorius Pete. What is the podcast dismount like? The bits after the recording has stopped and you all let your hair down. Does anything happen after that? Is there anything worth discussing after there? Do you scheme? Is Pete just sort of downing his headphones? I've had enough of this bloke. I'm going to drown myself in Coolish the second Chris is done uttering bye for now. Wishing you luck on the trip and wishing Pete luck observing said trip from afar. Elaine from New Zealand. It's a lovely message. But I mean, we mainly, because we're always quite busy, we mainly just decide when we're next going to record a podcast. Chris is like, I can't do that day, I can't do that day. And I go, I can't do that day, I can't do that day. And I end up having to get up at 6:30 in the morning because it's the only time we can record, which is absolutely fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, the bit when we stop recording, that's when I tell people what I really think about the pigeons. what I really think
just tells me off about things I've said in the podcast.
No, I do. Pretty anticlimactic. We go, when are we recording next? We go, Monday. And then we go, all right, then have a good Christmas.
Put it in my calendar.
It's very simplistic.
I booked the Riverside out I book the remote recording software. I book it out in the stack calendar so nobody else can get on it.
It's that anticlimactic. We got a story from Ginny, who says, "Hello, Chris and Pete. I've often thought about going to Japan for a month or more and working remotely so I can do a longer stay and see more of the country.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing more of northern Japan, like Hokkaido and Aomori, but I'm concerned if I stay too far north, it will make it hard to visit a lot of areas. I'm curious what you think would be a good location for a long stay that would give me easy access by train to many areas outside of Tokyo. Thanks for all the entertainment, guys. Love the book. All the best, Ginny." And I think Ginny has solved her question before. I think the solution lies in the question. You should just go to Tokyo, innit? Because Tokyo is very well connected to just about everything. And Sapporo is not. I mean, there's a plane from Sapporo. Aomori is like mega remote. Don't go there, as much as I love it. Like, honestly, I would say Tokyo. It's the easy option. Don't try and make your life more difficult. Just come to Tokyo. Lots of places to stay, lots of share houses, lots of places to work, co-working spaces, and you can fly or bullet train to any corner of the country in about 1 to 2 hours, right? So, why are you smiling? What have you been doing?
No,
why are you smiling so gleefully?
I was just reading the news story that we're going to be recording pretty soon. Because that's what I've got to do. That's what I only saw the running order 5 seconds ago. That's what I've got to do. I would say that you would be well served there. But I've always fantasized about having like a long, 3-monther and doing everything remotely. But there's certain things, certainly as a radio DJ, I couldn't obviously do stuff remotely. Probably could do nowadays because everybody sort of records their stuff remotely nowadays anyway. But it would be nice if I didn't have studio shows. Then I could just pop over there for a little bit longer.
You could do it.
My usual 2 weeks and just, do
You'd be flipping your entire business on its head. You could be here with me in person. And everything else could be done over the internet, right?
I could do the night shift. I could do the stack night shift, couldn't I? Yeah, working on that way.
Well, I mean, thinking about it, if you were going to do 3 months, you'd do 1 month Tokyo, 1 month Sapporo, 1 month Fukuoka or Osaka. Job done. There you go. That's a solution, I'd say.
Weeks, and just do little, ferry trips down to the islands down off Fukuoka. It's a lovely idea.
Do a ferry trip to the islands. That's so vague.
Exactly.
Pete Dawson's vague itinerary.
Take
a ferry to an island,
islands. Yeah, exactly.
Have yourself a happy new year, Pete, and to you guys listening, watching.
Yes.
Next time you see me, hopefully I won't be in a freezing cold hotel room dying in a corner. Hopefully I'll be in the warmth of the studio. I must break this wall. I must flee. But for now, guys, have a very happy new year, and we'll see you on the other side in 2024 for, I think, the 5th year or the 6th year of doing this podcast, amongst other things. And hopefully the last few episodes of Journey Across Japan, Non-Stop North, will also be out then too. But for now, have a good one, guys. We'll see you right back here to do it all over again in 2024 on the Abroad Japan podcast. Bye for now.
Ta-ta!